Okay. Now, there's talk of a vaccine. So, uh, there's been vaccines for other viruses in the past. How effective is a vaccine? So, if they come up with a vaccine, what is the timeline usually, even if they fast track it, what are we looking at? And is this going to be the silver bullet that will just bring everything back to normal?
So no, it will not be a silver bullet. Similar to how you have the flu vaccine every year, and
Mm.
even if you get vaccinated, you still have a chance to get the flu. Correct?
Yes.
So this would be a similar thing. It
Mm.
is going to create herd immunity, assuming they have the correct strain of the virus.
Okay.
And then in terms of how long it takes, there are a couple candidate vaccines out there that are on trial. The only thing is you have to make sure that your vaccine is effective and safe. And those pieces of testing require months. We're talking 2 to 4 months to complete those pieces of testing correctly, assuming you've developed a safe vaccine and one that works. Because I don't want to give someone a vaccine and then 3 months down the road figure out that it gives them something worse or it gives them some other condition that we hadn't foreseen. We want to
Yes.
minimize and limit those side effects as much as possible. So, in terms of developing a vaccine, you're looking at about the time uh, either when the virus peaks or just after the virus peaks. The second problem there is you have to manufacture and distribute this vaccine on a global scale.
Mm.
And that is the biggest piece of work that's yet to be seen. We're trying to mobilize industry to put in place the resources we need for when we come to that point. But that manufacturing and distribution of the vaccine is going to take months as well.
Now, there's you mentioned that we have to obviously isolate the right strain because, from what I understand, there's two major strains of this virus. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah, there was the original strain from China, and it seems like one of the strains has mutated a little bit,
Yeah.
and that seems to be the European strain.
Okay. And so, what is affecting Canadians? Is this the European strain or the one from China?
We believe it's the Chinese strain because most of our cases that started in Canada were travel related cases.
Okay. Okay. And so now, then, conceivably, you wouldn't have a vaccine that's like one vaccine for all because there could be mutations that even continue to occur, correct?
That's correct. However, if you again look at the flu vaccine covers about 6 or 7 different strains every year. And those are
Okay.
the strains that we typically expect to be the most infective and the most virulent every year. And that changes from year to year. We're a little bit luckier in that Australia typically gets the influenza virus first, and we can look at the Australian data and then make our best projections for which strains to include in the annual flu vaccine. So because of that, I do have a lot of hope and a lot of optimism that we're going to be able to put in a couple of strains worth of vaccine or vaccinate against a couple of different strains of COVID-19 as well.
Okay. So you mentioned herd immunity. So when are we looking at that point of trying to develop that herd immunity? Because again, that seems to be more of, I think, the long-term solution, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Herd immunity is something that we'd be looking at minimum 8 months down the road, if not 12 months, as a
Okay.
minimum.
It seems kind of weird using that terminology though, eh? Like human beings as a herd, herd immunity.
Is crowd
Yeah.
immunity better?
Yeah, crowd. It's associated with crowdfunding, maybe. I don't know. Mob immunity,
Mob
maybe.
immunity.
You know, the mob always likes to have immunity, right?